Good morning. What's good about it? Well, now, what's not good about it? Oi, oi, oi. Well, 3 nights here in my new Christian place in Alnwick, Northumbria, England, and it feels bloody marvellous. Even though I'm knackered, emotional thing, all this moving and so on, but that'll pass. It just feels right. It's tremendous. This is me, Beethoven's 7th Symphony, the joyous one. Oh, boy, yes, no, I'm knackered. But I'm alive, my son isn't. Robert Francis, my son, is dead. Which is the tragedy of my personal life. And that's the way God meant it to be. Clearly. I mean, I've had experiences and done things as a completely direct result of that broken marriage with a child, etc., that I wouldn't have dreamt of ever thinking of doing. Particularly, I mean, apart from travelling around the world with money, the 10, 11, 12 years I spent out, sleeping out under the stars or under canal bridges or whatever. I mean, God's taken me, and in 31 years, from the summer of 1990, when I met my former wife, and transformed me, 3/4 of my adult life, into what I am. Very, 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 yes, one of them. Christian, and awkward as Billio. I had this conversation with a very nice chap. He turned out to be a laird, which is a Scottish word meaning, the chief of a clan, I think, really. He seemed so young, but he said he was. Dressed in a sort of Chinese top, and it turned out he was married to a Chinese or Taiwanese lady, I think. Etc. etc. Invited him home. Come here, and he says, I don't have any need of God, really. That God rubbish stuff. I sent him packing. I just met him. We had 3 beers together. He bought 1 round. I bought both the 2nd and 3rd rounds. And I just sent him packing. I won't have that. I'm sorry. No way. Sitting in my Christian place and flatly denying God. Yes, people doubt, and I don't think I've ever done that to anyone, ever. As directly as that. We'd been chatting away on Saturday morning, been a lovely day, for probably a couple of hours. Invited him home. Fine. And we touched on, he believed in God, and he sort of said, no, not really, or something. But to sit there in this room, just saying, no, I don't really have any need of that God rubbish. Yes, I know people doubt, fine, or don't even believe in God at all, actually, or, and I mean, hope springs eternal, basically, and anyone is capable of changing in their lives. Of course, St. Paul is an absolute example of that. God transformed him in 3 days on the road to Damascus, and then he became God's man from persecuting the new Christians, having them stoned, the first martyr, Stephen. So I'm not saying you have to be a goody two-shoes Christian to come into my place, at all. I just will not have someone sitting there saying all this God stuff is rubbish. Sorry, chap. Send him packing. If he wants to change, fine. Then he's welcome. But not to my face a bald, bare statement that God is rubbish. Christian, God is rubbish. I don't have any need of that God rubbish. Oh. Wow. The forecast for another lovely day up here. I mean, I've been watching the weather from down south for the whole of May. Of course, April was that extraordinarily dry, virtually bone dry month in England. And now then May was cool, cold almost, and very wet. And yet I've been blessed on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday. The forecast is for another lovely day. My birdies have already found their food, so they've got getting me trained. The neighbours seem all right. One chap's got a Staffy dog next door. He's a local. And the other side is a Polish chap that seemed all right. And the others, there's some youngsters around and this and that. And I've got this lovely little square out there. I mean, that is my scene. No traffic noise, nothing. And yet I'm literally 5 minutes walk from the centre of town. I can do it myself with my bad leg, etc. There's a big Morrison's there, and then there's a co-op as well, and, you know, post office, bank, all the stuff. And people. And it's my work to meet people and to try to let the light of Christ shine in this dark world. See, that's my word. Amen.